And just for those that have joined us for the recording, that we are here to share about the IAF mentoring program, and it is the Mentee orientation. I am going to start this evening though, is that I'd like you to take a moment to go into breakout rooms, and I think in groups of 3. And what I'd like you to do is just share with each other, introduce yourselves to each other, and just share really what is it that motivated you to join the IAF mentoring program. And for those of you that are listening to it as a recording, to take a moment for yourselves to stop and reflect and really think, what is it that you wanted to get out this program as you signed up? So I am going to stop the recording. And I'm curious to know, for those that are happy to share, if they'd pop in the chat, what was it that motivated them to join the IAF mentoring program? I think to date we've had, now we'll be up to about probably between 200 and 250 participants over the last 3 years, which is pretty amazing. And there's lots of reasons that mentees and mentors actually are motivated to join. So welcome back as those others are joining us. Okay. So those are happy, I'd love to see in the chat just a few examples of what motivated you to join. A global community. And some of you may even be mentors. I know for me that sometimes I could be a mentor, but also looking for a mentor for someone, but also looking for a mentor for me for something. Thank you. Learning from the best in the breed. Absolutely. And that leads us for me to share with you that every mentor is a certified professional facilitator, and that's an expectation and part of the criteria for every mentor. That's part of the profiles. And, you know, everyone brings different wisdom and different experience. So you have a lot to choose from. Thank you. Awesome. Looking at new at the facilitation world. And one of the wonderful things about this mentoring program, it doesn't matter if you're at the beginning of your facilitation journey, that you might be doing facilitation part-time, you might have never had the opportunity to practice it yet, you might actually be quite experienced and looking to stretch yourself that little bit more. So we have a mentor that can support you wherever you are on that pathway. So I'm just going to share my screen, and I know, so what I'm going to share with you tonight is, or today or this morning, depending on where you are, is this is part of the IAF mentoring program handbook. So instead of doing a separate PowerPoint as an extra resource, I thought we can actually draw on this handbook. You can download it easily from the website, and everyone can have access to it. So if we go to page, I'm just going to go to page 3 to start with, which shares about the program. So the program, from our perspective, was actually designed, and you've all come with all your personal, what you want out of it. But the program was actually designed to actually support each of you to achieve your professional goals. And as an outcome of that, we're also growing the facilitation community of practice from around the world. And, you know, the other thing I want to perhaps actually, one thing I will do, I will stop for a moment, because at the bottom of this page, there's something I need to point out that is no longer relevant. So at the bottom of the page, you'll see on the bottom left-hand corner, it says completing the program is an essential step for members who want to become an IAF endorsed facilitator. So when we started this program, it was an essential component of that, and that over the last few months have changed. So I'm going to hand over to our professional development director, who can just highlight the reason that that's happened and how it might be different for each of the mentees that are joining us for this program.
I guess it's me. Yeah, it's me, the director. So basically, yes, when we introduced the original design of the endorsed facilitator designation, we thought to link it in a very tight way to mentoring program, and so to make the attendance to the mentoring program as a prerequisite for applying for endorsed facilitator. But in the very last months, we just decided to drop this connection. And so actually, this is not anymore true. So Sharon, we need to change also this, this manual. We need to amend this manual. So nowadays, any member can apply directly for endorsed facilitator if you wish, but we still maintain a link to mentoring program in a way that if you attend to the mentoring program and then you apply for endorsed facilitator, you will get, let's say, a lower fee for the assessment. So, which was the original also idea of the board, and when we start working on that. So, the endorsed facilitator designation as a fee for the assessment of $500 if you attend to the mentoring program. This fee will be reduced to $100, so the cost of the mentoring program. So in total, again, it will cost $500, but I mean, with this little reduction. Why we did this? Basically for two different reasons. So why we dropped the endorsed and mentoring, for two different reasons. One is very connected to the approach we have to the to any certification or endorsement program in the IAF. We always say we never coach the candidates. We only assess the candidates. And so just to be extremely clear, as you have seen, all mentors are certified professional facilitator, but none of the mentors is an assessor for the IAF. So we ask to the assessor not to be involved in the mentoring program, just because we really care about maintaining this idea that we never coach the candidates. Okay, so, and this is one point. The second one is that we simply thought that it could be quite a constraint for some members to attend to the 6 months program like the mentoring program, although the mentoring program, for my idea, it's one of the best programs we run at the IAF. I think it's really a powerful program, and not only for mentee, but also for mentors. So once I will, I mean, in the future, I hope to be involved as well. So basically, these are the two reasons. From one side, there is we like to, in some way, to correct the approach and be more linear what we normally do, and we never coach the candidates. And on the other side, we had this idea of just making easier for members to attend. So if you to apply for endorsed, and so we just say you can attend to the mentoring and then apply for endorsed if you wish. But if you, for any reason, you can't go through the mentoring program, you can go straight to the endorsed facilitator, as to any, also to certified professional facilitator, of course, because in this moment you can also apply directly for certified professional facilitator. And I think I have done my explanation. hoping that it's clear. Okay, Sharon.
Thank you,
Over to you.
Gerardo.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And perhaps I know that you need to go shortly. So I just want to take a moment and see if anyone has any questions about the relationship between the mentoring program and the professional pathway before Gerardo leaves us. So I'll just wait for a moment. You can either put your hand up, or you can use the chat. Take yourself off of mute. I don't mind. And I'll take silence as a no.
Yeah, I see some comments in the chat.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Anna. Yes, that's a great initiative, isn't it? That you can still invest in your professional development and it can be recognised internally within IAF to support your endorsed. Wonderful. Awesome. So
Okay.
with that, yeah.
No, sorry. So I have to go because in 10 minutes from now, I have a workshop starting, so I have to go for my work. So I'm sorry, but whatever you need from us, any information, you can refer, of course, to Sharon, to the office, and also to myself. If you have any query, question, whatever you need from us, please, please just ask. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Gerardo. Thank you for making the time to join us. It's greatly appreciated.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. All right, we will move on. So when you download the handbook, you'll see that there's some awesome testimonials from previous participants around the benefits of mentoring to them, and that's both from a mentoring perspective and a mentee. There is also a short YouTube of mentors that have shared their personal experiences as well. So please look on the website if you'd like to listen to those. I want to share with you what your actual journey is, and we've kept this as simple as possible because what makes this program so successful is that it can be tailored to what the mentee needs. So IAF is not putting any expectations on you on what is required, whatever the content needs to be, because that would stop you being able to tailor this program to be specifically for the needs, your needs. So as Gerardo has said, and I also mentioned that every mentor is a certified professional facilitator. Some of them have been part of this program since its inception in 2019, and some, as their circumstances change, have dropped out, and some new ones have joined us. So each of you have been asked to pay US $100 to be part of this program. And the way that we use those funds is for the administrative component of this program, and also to continue to develop resources for the mentoring program. Our vision is that eventually it will be self-serving, and that the volunteer component that, as Gerardo and I are sitting with you now, that we'll be able to substitute that with you being able to go online and access the information you need at any time. So that is our vision for this program, that will enable it eventually will be self-serving for each of you. We do ask, as from the mentor, if we go down the mentor's side of the mentoring journey, is that once you have chosen a mentor and you're reaching out to them, that they can respond back to you, if possible, within 48 hours. And we also have an expectation that they'll be going on and ensuring that their profiles are up to date, so that when you're going in and looking at them, so you may be looking at where they're located, what languages are they fluent in, where they are geographically, as well as what their experiences that they bring. So you might have different types of criteria that you're looking at. So we do expect them to keep their profiles up to date. I will show you what the profile page looks like. So I'll just stop sharing that for a moment in case some of you haven't had a chance to see what the profile page looks like. So when you go in, you will see a page that looks like this. You can see all of the IAF mentors are listed. It'll say where they are based, their languages, and underneath you can see available yes. So what we've asked people to do is, sometimes mentors' workloads may change. They may decide that they want to remain a mentor, but they don't currently have the time. So that little available will show yes, they're available now, or no, they're not. So I'll just scroll down just to give you an example. There's one here somewhere. I saw. Okay. So you can see where in China, we've got languages, China, English, available, no. So currently, she's had the capacity to take on mentees and currently doesn't. So look out, make sure you're not emailing anyone that's got a no in their availability. Okay. Other than that, you can see, you can click to contact them. There's heaps more information you can read about them. So that's a very quick snapshot that you'll see when you open that page. So please search further to make sure you're getting all the information you need to make the right decision. So I'll just stop sharing that and go back to the page I was sharing before. Okay. So from our expectation for the mentors is that they're committing to at least 6 sessions with you, because we have a timeline of 6 months for this program. So starting now, wrapping up in mid-November. And over that time, we expect them to have met with you at least once a month, minimum 1 to 2 hours. Now, as you meet your mentor and you start to flesh out how you're going to work together, each individual relationship may change that to suit them. So you may meet more often, but that is a minimum requirement from a program perspective. And at the end of the program, you'll see there that once you've had your sessions, the other expectation from the mentor is that they will advise the IAF office of when you have officially completed your sessions. And at that time, then the IAF office can complete the certificate, a certificate of completion, and send that back to you for your records. Before you meet your mentor for the first time, there is an expectation that you've spent time thinking about what you'd like to get out of the program and what your goals are. And if you're clear about those before you go into this process, it will help you to choose the right mentor. It's your responsibility to take the time to select and ask the mentor if they'd like to be your mentor. Please only email one mentor at a time. And what I mean by that, if I wait until that mentor has replied whether they can or not take you on as a mentee, what has happened in the past is that we've had mentees who have emailed a whole lot of mentors, and mentors have had to spend a lot of time and effort replying to people that have are not going to take them on as their mentors. So the mentors have asked me to please request that each of you target the person you want rather than emailing a large selection of mentors. So we value their wisdom and experience. We want the mentor's experience to be awesome as well. So please respect their time. Okay. At the first session, from your perspective, is that we want you to take the time to get to know your mentor, that you clarify what you want to work on, and make sure it's a really good relationship. If you've worked out that the relationship is right, then at that time you can complete and return your mentoring program agreement. This is downloadable from the website, and I can show you just to make sure that you get the right one. This is what the agreement is going to look like. And we're asking that each of you are signing off to these following commitments: that you are both part of this program because you have a genuine interest and commitment to your mentoring relationship, that you are both there to be objective, honest, supportive, and open to being challenged in a constructive way. And that works both ways in a mentoring relationship: to act ethically and respectfully always, to declare and manage any potential conflicts of interest, to respect and maintain strict confidentiality. I expect every mentor looks at this program and the sessions that they have with you is held in the highest of confidence and not to be shared unless you seek that it is. Yes, Karina, the links of the materials presented today can be sent to you. So this is actually a handbook that can be downloaded from the website. Thank you for your question too about the 6-month program as a strict end date. There is for me, this is a formal mentoring program, and the reason it's formal is that and I know personally when I've mentored people, I like to know that I have a start and an end date to ensure I can commit fully to my mentee over that time. If at the end of the formal mentoring relationship, if your mentor is happy to continue with you outside this program, that is totally up to the two of you. IAF is not going to say you have to stop it there. Oh, thank you, Vincent, for popping the link up in the chat. And as I've already shared before, that you participate in at least 6 mentoring sessions. And we do at the end of the program send out a very short evaluation so that we can continue and to grow and evolve the program to meet your needs and the needs of the mentors. I'll just stop for a breather. Is there any questions? So the date that you need to complete all 6 sessions by, starting the rollout now, will be mid-November. Okay, so I would expect that, and probably realistically, it's going to take you a couple of weeks to source and set your first session up with your mentor. So I would expect by a complete date by 30th of November. Give you a couple of weeks time to meet and connect. Any other questions before we move on? And as always, I'll take silence as a no.
I have one question, Sharon.
Sure.
Yeah, somewhere I read, I'm not too sure whether you can choose 2 mentors or is it like only 1 mentor?
I have been asked that question before, so thank you for that question for this round. My response to that is that I would ask 1 mentor, and then I would ask that mentor how they would feel about you asking another mentor, because some of the mentors felt a bit conflicted around being asked. So for me, I would seek permission first from your mentor. And if you're coming with perhaps a set of expectations or wants or needs from the program that they believe they can't service, often your mentor may be the best person to recommend another mentor rather than you going out and sourcing a second person. So I would work with your mentor to get the best out of the program. And if they recommend that you need someone else, then by all means, you're more than welcome to. Yep.
Thank you, Sharon. But did IAF mention somewhere in the documents, you can, as a mentee, you can choose 2 mentors? Somewhere I read like that, kind of. Was it somewhere? Earlier mentioned in any of the document, maybe earlier document somewhere?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But now that you've mentioned it, I'm going to go back and search
Somewhere
through everything to make sure that that is not there, because
somewhere I have read that. I don't remember immediately. Otherwise, I would have shown that. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Sharon, for clarifying. Yeah.
No, thank you. And please, if it does come back that where you have read that, please let me know, and I'll go back and have a look and make sure that that's not in there, because I think that I just know from mentors that they are volunteering, they're giving their time, and I have huge respect for the wisdom and experience that they bring. And I would go to my mentor first to work out what is the right answer to that question before going any further. Okay, anything else before we move on? No? Awesome. All right. So I'll go back. I think I've just about completed. Everything there. So we might go down to the next page. So page 6 is about setting your goals. So these are really great questions that can help prime your thinking around what it is if you're not already clear about what you'd like to get out of this program. So what are your current strengths that you bring that's already showing up in the work that you do? And what do you think might be some of the barriers that are getting in the way of you being the best that you can be? And I know that just from the questions that have already been asked earlier, and those that might be listening to this recording, that every one of you are in a different pathway. Every one of you have a different road that you've chosen for your career and where you want to get to. So facilitation might be a soundbite of what you do. Facilitation might be all of what you do. Facilitation might be a tool that you use as a manager to ensure your meetings or programs go really well. So facilitation can underpin so many things that we do in everyday life. And, I know that all of you bring a different version of that to this program. So I want you to think about when you are facilitating in whatever form that might be, what is it that you want to be doing? What do you want other people to see in you? What do you want to be seeing and hearing in yourself? And how will you know, with your mentor, it's really great to set yourself some goals around how will you know that you've got there? So what's your success criteria going to be? And the other thing probably to think about too is it's really good to use a journal. So I think for me, there's a great relationship between the creativity of your mind and whether it's writing it or drawing it on a piece of paper rather than typing it on a computer. So if you want to tap into the creativity and use all of your senses, think about how else you could draw some of that information out of yourself. And I don't know whether any of you have done I love the old boards, where you just cut out bits of magazine or cut out pictures. Really just go back and tap into that creative part of you to pull out some things, some thoughts that you might not have come up with before. And then come up with your top 3 and write those down and see how they sit with you. All right, I'm just going to stop for a moment. Is there any more questions? I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see all of you. All right, I think as I've been talking for a while, I'm going to give you a moment to talk. So thank you, everyone. I hope that helped to articulate what it is that you really want to be by the end of this program, because it's so exciting, the opportunities that you have ahead of you. And you'll get out of this program what you want to. It's you're accountable. No one else can tell you. It's really up to you. So it's self-serving, I suppose. So thank you for taking the time to do that. As you had that conversation, I just want to check in thank you. It's recording again. Thank you. I just want to check in. Is there any questions as a consequence of those conversations you were having? It's too easy, guys, with no questions. I like it. All right, we'll move on. So page 7 of the program guide is really for the mentors. I just wanted to share it with you so that you know what they are doing. So there's an expectation that they'll go in and register, that they'll be upgrading their profiles, that they are sharing something about their facilitation story. So we've given them some clues around what might be useful for you as mentees, that they will click whether they are available, yes or no. And then it's up to you to take the time to read them and then reach out to them. Okay, so and the next page is your first session. So at your first session, the other thing that will be really good to share with your mentor is what is your learning style. So each of us have a different way that we like to learn. So I'm very visual. So I'll often say, I see. Whereas auditory people will say, I hear. And kinesthetic people that like to learn by doing will often say the word do. So if you're aware of how you like to learn best, it's really awesome to be able to share that with your mentor. And then they can draw on that on the way that they might share resources or materials with you. So to give you an example, for me, I love color. I love YouTubes. I love graphs. I'm not very good at reading lots of material. So if I can share that with my mentor, then that can help her or he to work with me. Also, how do you like to be challenged? Because it's really important that, you know, as Brené Brown said, you need to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Because if you're feeling comfortable, you're not growing and stretching and evolving as a facilitator. So part of this may feel uncomfortable. And that's a good thing. So it's about feeling comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, you know, I think about what is it that you want to celebrate? What is a successful relationship look like for you? So, you know, some of the discussions you might like to have with your mentor is, what are we going to be celebrating? How we know that we've worked really well together as a team? What's going to make us a fantastic relationship? And discuss with them, you know, how often you want to meet, where you want to meet, what method do you want to use? Are you Zoom users? Are you, you know, Teams? Are you Skype? You know, whatever it might be. So that this is all set up beforehand. Who's going to drive the meetings? The other really important question to ask too is an exit clause. So what are you going to, what is your exit strategy? So if you both decide, if the mentor or the mentee decides this relationship isn't working, what's your exit strategy? So if you talk about it up front, it makes it a lot easier if it's not working. As a backup, please reach out to Dorado or myself. We're always here to support you. If you feel the relationship's not working for whatever reason, let's nip it in the bud, as they say, and we can have conversations early up rather than waiting and you look back and say, that program didn't deliver what we really wanted and mentor wasn't quite right. Please, please, please share early so that we can make sure you have the right person and it's going really well. And I think that's about it. I can see a couple of chats. Okay. All right. Thank you. So I think there's no other questions at this stage. I'll just double check if there's any more questions. While I'm giving you a moment to do that, I'll move on to the next one. So we believe for the IAF mentoring program that there are 4 key principles that underpin successful relationships. And those 4 are trust and respect. And part of that trust and respect is how you respond to each other, how you prepare for your sessions, and how you are accountable to yourselves. And of course, I've already shared about confidentiality. I expect that the mentors will be using lots of open questions, that they're coming from a place of being open, of being curious, that the intent is to move you forward without being judgmental, and that open questions will ensure awesome discussion. Closed questions is really about clarifying understanding. Listening, I want them to listen with all their senses, and I challenge all of you to listen with all your senses as well. I know musicians can hear, I don't know, it's like their hearing is at least 7 times better than what ours is, because they're trained to hear everything with all of their senses. So I stretch my mentors to be doing the same for you. What are they hearing that you're not hearing yourselves? What can they reframe and say back to you that's going to help and be powerful and impactful for you? And the last one's about that open and honest dialogue. So, you know, you'll be receiving feedback about your strengths and the impact that they have on the people around you, that they will also might be sharing things around what you might do differently next time. So this might be some of the stuff where you might be feeling uncomfortable. It's a good uncomfortable because it can get you to be feeling, you know, growing and evolving as a facilitator. If you feel uncomfortable and if your mentor is challenging you in ways that you don't like, please be brave, be courageous, and say, you know, they might be doing it with the best intent. So please, please, please say if you're feeling uncomfortable. Any questions? Right. The next one is really about what can you do to prepare. So you've had a session and you're about to go to your next session. What can you do to make sure that you're in the right mindset, the right space to be ready? So some of the questions that you might like to ask yourself, or the mentor might even reach out and ask you is, you know, you might have set yourself some tasks or some actions to do. So did you do them? If you didn't, what got in the way? Because life is always throwing us things our way. So, you know, think about what it is that got in the way, because it's okay. The other thing that you might find that happens is that you've set your goals and you get into this 1 or 2 months, you go, oh, something's happened and I need to change them. And that's okay too. So don't feel you've set yourselves in cement and have to do what you said at the start of it. This is a movable feast. You can change as you need to change. So this is an opportunity just to check in with yourselves, check in where you are, and what you did well, what might have gotten in the way, what you might do differently, what you drew on, you know, what are your awesome strengths that you're drawing on that you didn't even realize, or what's a new skill that you might have learned. And think about what do you want to work on, or what might you want to get out of your next session. And I want you to work with your mentor. Who is the one that's going to confirm the date and time? Who is the one that's going to be, you know, sharing that information? And I can share what I do personally as a mentor. I do expect the mentee to be doing a lot of the work. I will send them a reflection form and I'll ask them to fill that out and send it back to me. So each mentor is different, and I don't put any expectations on them how they like to work, but that's what I would do. Yes, I will share that link. I'll make sure I find it and put it up, Emily, before we finish. Okay, and I think we're just nearly at the end. At your last session, and so the last session might be you want to end your relationship early, which I've already spoken about. So please, please, please say earlier rather than later so that we can do something about it. But the other one is when you're wrapping up your formal relationship, please take the time to acknowledge the value of that relationship and the contribution you've made to each other. Because guaranteed, if you ask the mentor what they got out of this program, they get just as much out of it as what you do, which is why they put their hand up and continue to be part of this awesome program. The other part of it is that they will then be able to say to the IAF office that you have completed the program, and then you can get your completion form. And also, as I said to you, if they want to continue the relationship past this formal part, that's totally up to the two of you to agree on. There's no expectations from our end. Our expectation is the mentor has the right to end that relationship there if that fits in with the capacity of their commitment. And I think that's just about it from my perspective.
Yeah, one question, Sharon.
Yes, Raj.
The agreement, the copy which you've shown as a Word document, that needs to be sent across once the mentor accepts it, or is it the mentor who will initiate the agreement to be sent? Like, how is it? Like,
Yep. I would expect the mentor has that ready at your first session. However, I will just give me a moment and I'll actually put the link up where all of that information is, and I will
I think Vincent's already put it up there for us. Maybe.
Yes, you did. Sorry, it's there.
the Word document has been already put in the chat box. I've downloaded that. So my only question is, like, I fill in that document and send it to the mentor, or without the mentor asking for it, or you'd want the mentor to initiate? That's the only point I'm making.
Oh, okay. So That's totally, it's totally up to you. I don't expect it to be completed till the end of the first session. So I would expect the mentor would have it on hand at your first session.
Correct. Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
That's my expectation.
Yeah.
And I know each of you work differently. So again, as long as at the end of the first session it's been done, I don't mind who, for example, if you want to send it early, that's totally up to you. But my expectation is the mentor will have it at that first session. It takes, 30 seconds to fill out, and then you can send it into the office. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sharon, on the 4th page of this presentation, it says that you can contact mentors. So as if we were supposed to contact more than one.
Yes, that wasn't the intent of the word.
Yeah. I mean, you cleared it up, but for me, yeah.
I understand. Okay, so thank you. We will take note of that and perhaps just change the wording, because we were thinking of the mentors as in the collective of mentors rather than that you actually approach many mentors. Yes, so thank you so much. I'm so glad you pointed that out so that we can clarify. Thank you. We will fix that.
Okay.
Yes, and I think, yeah, that's great. Was there any other links that you were missing then? Emily, did that link work for you, or were you looking for the one that had the, yep, it did, good. I was going to say, or were you looking for the one that generally had the mentoring program information on it? So currently what is on that website is the orientation webinar from last year and the mentoring orientation webinar from last year. As now that we have completed this year's orientation webinar, this one will be upgraded because it's the updated handbook. And then the mentoring one I'll be holding 24 hours later, and then we'll better update that one as well. So other than that, that is all from me. So I'm going to stop sharing. So in closing, is there any questions that I have from you before we close our official Mentee IAF mentoring program Mentee orientation?
I have a question about the endorsement. Is the idea that you complete, if you're planning to apply for that endorsed facilitator status or whatever it is, certificate, is the idea that you complete the mentoring program first, or somewhere along the line you can apply, or is it's kind of disconnected and it doesn't matter? Or?
Yeah. So were you here when Gerardo spoke at the beginning of this webinar, Hannah?
Yeah. It's helpful to see that there's that discount so that you're not paying extra for the mentoring on top.
Absolutely. So now that you've all committed and paid for the mentoring program, if you wanted, you could then apply for the endorsed.
Right. Anytime.
So, yeah, you can apply anytime.
Yep. Thank you.
There will be a wait list because there's lots of people that are going to be applying for it, and I know that they have been given they're giving priority to people that have completed or committed to the mentoring program. So the fact that you're doing it is helpful in that application. Anything else? I'd love in closing for you to pop in the chat, perhaps what's one thing, what's a word perhaps to wrap up, how you're feeling about as you're going to find the most awesome mentor on the whole wide world. What's a word? Thank you, excited. That's wonderful. I'm so excited for each of you. So excited. And thank you. Please reach out to me at any time. I'm here to help you. I have had trouble with the mentoring email, so that will be fixed, and I will be a short time geographically around the world from you. Absolutely, it is new beginnings, isn't it? Thank you. Wonderful. So thank you each and every one of you for valuing your own professional development, valuing your facilitation journey, and thank you for growing and evolving the facilitation community. I'm really excited for each of you. And I will check in with you probably about halfway through to see how you're all going, and look forward to hearing from you, if not during, at the end. So thanks to each of you, and I will stop our recording.